Hello, in this video I'm going to teach you how to create the same Photoshop 3D icon inside Blender from scratch. The same thing, we want to first save a new project, and I will call it 3D icon Photoshop, and then save Blender file. Okay, so this time we do want to work with the cube, so I don't have to delete it. Since we're working from scratch, we have more flexibility. So the final design looks something like that. So we will use the cube to create this foundation, and then we will learn how to add the text to the object as well. So let's get to work. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we want to now go into edit mode. So you can use tab key to enter edit mode, or you can go here and switch between object mode and edit mode. So when you're inside edit mode, then you will see depending on which select you selecting, you can select the vertex. Basically all these points are called vertex. You can select them, or you can select the edges like so, or you can go to faces and then select faces. So there's also the shortcut 1, 2, 3 on your keyboard will toggle through these different selections. So this is very helpful, so I recommend remembering the shortcuts 1, 2, 3. And then once you inside the edit mode, you also have a lot of modeling tools available to you. The ones that we're gonna use is this extrude and then insect face and bevel. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is this box a little bit high, or to make the foundation I want to shorten it up a little bit. So first we want to be in the face select mode, so press 3, and then I already have it selected. Then I want to move it down a little bit, so I use G and then Z to move along the Z axis. Okay, so I think that this is more or less the height that I'm looking for. Again, when I'm enter into the front view, I can use the G and Z to, I can exit out of my edit mode. This way I can quickly select the whole cube and then G and Z to move it up a little bit. Okay, once I'm done, I will go back to the edit mode by using tab key. So this is another shortcut, it's good to remember. Okay, so after that, what I want to do is I want to bevel the corner of this foundation so it has rounded corner. So to do that, what we need to do is we need to bevel all these vertical edges. So we want to use tool to go to edge select mode, and then you can select the edge and then holding down shift key, so you can then move around and then select all of them by holding down shift. This way you can select all of them, and then we can use bevel or command B to bevel the corners. You can then use your mouse scroll to scroll it up and down to increase the segments, basically to make the corner more smooth. Okay, so I think this is good. And one good usage of command B, the shortcut, is once you're done, you will see this bevel option shows up before you quit the bevel tool, and then you can continue to make adjustment. For example, if I enter my top view, I can see my corners. Maybe I want it to be a little bigger, and then I can adjust my segments to make it more smooth. I don't need that many segments. The fewer segments usually the better, so you don't have a very complicated mesh to work with. However, you also don't want to have too few, otherwise it will look very jagged when you render. So I think this is good, and you can do some other adjustment, but we're good for now. So the next thing I want to do is I want to bevel this side as well, the edge on the surface, because when I do the rendering later, I want this to look kind of roundish. So I will use command B again, and then to bevel it up just slightly. So, and then again, I can use, if you find you can't use a scroll, that's because you already exit bevel. So let me do it again, Command B, and then, so before you left click, you want to use your scroll to scroll it down and up to adjust it. So something like this. Okay, so I have 4 segment offset like this if you want to follow the my setting. Okay, so I have it beveled. The next thing I want to do is I want to extrude this face inside, so I can create another similar square. If you take a look at the photo, I want to create this square. So what I can do is I can select this face. You want to tap 3 to select face, and then you use this inset face. Basically, this is extrude inward. Instead of using that, I can hold down I. This is the short key, and then I think this is the good size. And after this, I want to extrude it up a little bit. So I can hold down E. E is the shortcut for extrusion, and then I can move it up a little bit. So I think this is good. So if you don't remember the shortcut, here's the extrusion. Okay, so next thing we want to do is again to add some bevels. So we go to Edge Select Mode, and you want to double click. If you click once, that will only select this edge, but if you double click, it will select the whole loop. This time we want to do Command B again, and then drag, and then use your mouse scroll to adjust how many segments. I think this looks good to me. Maybe I can change it to 4 just to make them stay the same kind of smoothness. Okay, so I have the foundation ready, and let me quit my edit mode, and you find that inside viewport you can see that these are still very jagged. This is because this still haven't been rendered yet. So we're inside this mode. This is the viewport shading. To make the viewport shading look smooth, what we can do is right click on our object, and then what you can do is change it to shade smooth, and this way it looks smooth, more smooth. However, it still also look weird. So to fix the problem, you want to do is you want to go to Object Data Properties and go to Normals, and then check Auto Smooth. And now you see the shading looks more smooth. So I know that sometimes you see this line, but it's not a problem. When we render it, you won't see it again. So remember this, under the object property, you want to check auto smooth once you change it to smooth shading. Okay, so next what we want to do is we want to add some text. To do that, we can do is go to add, and if you want to add a cube again or some other basic shape, so you can go to the mesh. So what we want to do is go to text. So now we have the text edit, and to edit the text you want to use tab key to enter into the edit mode, and then I can now put in PS. So now I want to exit out of the edit mode. Now you see it is over there. So let me go back to the top view. I want to move it by click G and then center it here more or less. So now we can do some adjustment here for the text. Let me first give it some thickness, the same way we did for the SVG file. We can go to geometry, then we can extrude it out a little bit. So let me hold down Shift, and then to make some adjustment, let me change it view so I can see it better. So seems that this time I need to extrude it out a lot, and then now G and Z to move it along, and I think I can extrude less, and then G and Z to move it up a little bit. Okay, so this is good, but you probably noticed that this is not the right font. So what we can do is now I can change the font by going to font. If you click here, this the default font, but this is not what I want. And Adobe icon use something called Adobe Clean. So I wanna find this Adobe Clean font, and then basically you can just save it as a folder on your desktop, and then you can import it in. So I think I will choose the first one. Okay, so now I have it available. I can size it up a little bit, S to size it up, but you see that when I size it up, the origin or the transform is next to the bottom of the P. So what I want to do is inside I want to first reset the origin to the center of the mass. This way it's centered within the object, and this way when I scale it up, it's scale in the middle. And I think I can change the character spacing a little bit. So under the paragraph, under spacing, you can find that the character spacing. So you'll hold down Shift to make some slight adjustment. I think this looks good to me. Okay, so probably we need to put it down a little bit more. Another thing I forgot to do is give it some bevel. So let's go back to geometry and the bevel. Hold down Shift to make some slight adjustment. Usually more rounded will give more like a cartoonish look or more stylized, so depending on the kind of style you're looking for. Okay, so I'm good with this. Yeah, so basically you're done. So what we want to do next, just to give it proper naming, this is always good practice. So we'll maybe just call it a foundation. So now if we go to this viewport shading, this will display the material, but because we haven't added any material, so it looks quite weird. So then in the next video, I'm going to show you how to set up your lights and render a nice image of your 3D model.